Good morning, good afternoon, and a very happy Friday to you all. I am joined by a very special guest today, and I'm so excited to get to chat with him. We have got comic book writer and creator, pulp author, and historian. It is the one and only Wyatt Holliday. Hello, love.
Good morning, good afternoon. How are you?
Doing well, thank you. How are you today?
Man, I was doing well, but then that intro got me really pumped. I saw Dr. Doom and that was it, man. And that logo at the end is nice too.
It's a fantastic intro, isn't it? It covers
Y-
all the things that I really love, and we've got the great Stone Loki to thank for that. It's one of his creations.
Very cool.
Absolutely love it. Before we kind of get into the conversation and really kind of have a good chat, let me say hello to everybody who's joined us. So we've got Brandon the anime guy. Good morning, still laughing about Netflix cancelling Cowboy Bebop. We've got
Yeah,
Saint Ravage. Were you a
between
fan?
that and Jussie, my yesterday was made.
It really was. It's a good way to start the weekend, isn't it?
Yeah.
Yep, Brandon's still laughing about it. I thought you would be. Let's see who else. We've got Saint Ravage. Good to see you, love. We've got Eldrick Thrustlord. We've got both Bash brothers. We've got Mark and Chris. Hello, gentlemen. Shane Nolan. Good morning, love. Good to see you. Dave Bob. There he is. Hey, Dave Bob. We've got Keely Chow. Roll Tide Keely. Good morning. D Bud Martin. Good to see you. We've got our favourite polar bear, Snorter Poopers. How are to you? Good to see you. Let's see who else has joined us. Sultan Al Fahim. Hey, it's been a while. Good to see you. Project Storytime. Good to see you as well, Josh. Good morning. We've got Jim the Viking and Mobile Recluse. Good afternoon, gentlemen. Good to see you. Let's see. Genuine Comics. Hello. It says hello, everyone. Welcome. Good to see you. Hope you're
Hello.
having a good one today. Let me make sure I'm not missing anybody before we kind of get into it. I missed Psycho Dwarf 9. Hello, Psycho Dwarf. Good to see you. Uh, Guys, welcome. Hope you're having a good one. So, we've
Oh, I
been
see Peter
wanting.
Gilmore.
Oh,
Woo!
we got Peter in as well. Hey, Peter. Good to
What's
see
up,
you.
brother?
Good afternoon. And TZ Canadian. Good to see you as well. Hey, guys. We've got a great crowd in today. We really do.
Nice. Excellent. Good to see everyone.
Good to see you. So, we've been wanting to have this chat for a while, haven't we? We've been talking back and forth in DMs and just having a laugh in the green room. I'm really, really happy to get to talk to you today.
Yeah, I've been really looking forward to it. Yeah, after you came, you dropped by the chat at my stream celebration a week or so ago,
Yes,
and I was like, yeah, we need to hook up and do something.
congratulations.
Thank you, thank you,
Congratulations on that. That was a great show.
thank you. Yeah, when you, yeah, when you came into the chat, we were talking about something kind of funny, and I didn't know if you got it or not. But Clint, Clint Holinsky, the artist of Pirate Queen with Mandy, um,
Mm-hmm.
he was asking Pete silly American geography questions, like the type of questions people in the UK would get from Americans. And so Mandy and I started making up nonsense, and we were telling him there's a Great Britain and there's a regular Britain, and Pete lives in regular Britain. And so we were just making up nonsense to tell Clint. And that was when you walked in. And I was like, I hope she's not, I hope she doesn't think we're making fun of things.
No, no, I was listening and I thought these guys are just so funny. So how far can they take this before he cottons on?
And Pete was just rolling with it. So we just kept it going.
No, but it was a great show, and as Kitty says, congratulations. But you guys are doing incredibly well. I mean, it's not just the channel, it's all of your work as well.
Yeah. Yeah. We stay busy. So yeah, we just, yeah, mediocre Britain.
Yes. And Peter says Britain ain't too great at the moment. Oh, I'm there with you, Peter.
Yeah, I feel you. I feel it here
Before
too.
before we kind of really get into all of the work that you're doing at the moment, could I ask a little bit about your background? How did you become a creative? Is it something that you've always done? Is it something that you've always loved? Or is it something that you kind of fell into accidentally?
Well, it's always something I've wanted to do. My love of comics goes back a long way. My mother taught me how to read using comics. I really liked the Hulk and Spider-Man
Nice.
when I was a kid, and so my mom picked up on that, used comic books to teach me how to read, and ever since then I was a fan. I was a big time collector, through high school when I was, had a little bit of my own money to spend, and
Back when
yeah,
comics weren't like $6 a pop, yeah.
yeah, they were about $1.50 when I was in high school. So we're talking the '90s. So but yeah, I've just always been a fan. It had always been something I wanted to do, but as a writer, it was particularly, it was harder to break in back then, especially before the
Hmm.
big advent of the internet, especially. So, I tried a few times when I was a teenager, maybe 18, 19 years old, somewhere in there. I did some submissions and things, but nothing really ever came together. So I went on and I figured, if I if I'm able to do this at any point in the future, it's 100% going to happen. And so,
Nice.
time went on, working the day job and things, and yeah, it just kind of came together. I was looking through the years, maybe 2009. I contacted an artist, and it was a buddy of mine already, and we were discussing doing a book together, and we got some designs and things worked out, a few pages, but nothing really ever came together. And then a few years later, he asked me if I still wanted to work on something, and I was like, sure, yeah, let's go ahead and do a book. And why not? I'll go ahead, and I don't know how we're going to publish it or get it out there or whatnot just yet, but we'll figure it out.
We'll
And
cross that bridge when we come to it, yeah.
yeah. So I'm not gonna let that stop me. So um, and then I was always a fan of Ethan and Dan Frega and all the guys who were big artists when I was a teenager anyway.
Yes,
So,
yeah.
I was looking into crowdfunding like Kickstarter or Indiegogo or whatnot. And that was when I discovered Ethan's channel. And I was like, of course, I'm not a fan of what's been going on in mainstream comics for the past 10,
Mhm.
15 years.
Yep.
And so that was just like a bright light had been turned on. So when I discovered that, I knew exactly where I needed to be and what I was doing. And that was about 2 years ago. So that was when things were really kicking off hard for
Mhm.
CG back in the early days when I could name every creator.
Well, that's just it, it's become so popular now because we've got so many great creators giving people what they want. It's this crazy idea that if you make something that the fans want, they will support it.
Yeah, to me, I've always enjoyed writing. To go back a little bit to your earlier question, I, I won state in the writing fair in like middle school, a couple years in a row, and I mean, all my teachers always thought I was good. I just figured, if anyone besides your immediate family is giving you positive criticism, that's a pretty good thing. I expect, you expect your family to always say good things. So,
Yes, yeah, just because they're your friends and family, but no,
right.
I absolutely get that. And just to say very quickly, I want to say a big thank you to Captain Spire, who says Merry Christmas to you all. Merry Christmas and a happy Hanukkah to you too as well. Thank you, honey.
Merry Christmas, Happy Holidays. Absolutely. But yeah, I think a lot of us, we just, certainly speaking for myself, I just want to make the comics that I would want to read. That's really, you know, have fun with it. And it doesn't, as we've said many times, it doesn't need to be a propaganda pamphlet. There's no need for
Absolutely.
that. Um,
And
Pure
I'm
escapism. Just
escapism, that's exactly what we want. Entertainment. Exactly.
because as a creator, I don't feel like it's my job to remind you of the crappy stuff in the world. It's my job to take you out of the crappy stuff in the world for a while. So that's how I go about it. So we just have fun with it, and I enjoy telling the type of stories that I would want to read.
hmm And we were talking in the background before we went live about, kind of the things that really inspired you. And you have a
Mhm.
great love of pulp comics, don't you?
Absolutely, yeah. That was something I got into maybe as a teenager. I was probably about 15 or so, and I was in my LCS, and they always had like a what you would probably call an end cap
hmm
um, in the comic store, and it was just a small little section, and they would have old issues of the Shadow and Doc Savage, those type of the Spider, the Avenger, those type of books. But there was a Doc Savage cover when I was about 15 that particularly piqued my interest, and it was number 36 actually, and in the story, on the cover is a guy with a syringe with a mummy on a table, and he's injecting this mummy with the syringe. So I was like, I gotta have that. I don't know what he's doing to this mummy, but I want to find out. And so yeah, what the story is Doc Savage tries to resurrect Solomon, and it goes horribly wrong. And but yeah, that was my real introduction. And of course, I knew the Shadow from the
hmm
Alec, Alec Baldwin movie.
yes.
Alec Baldwin. But
Yes.
but which I do like. I do like the movie. I do like
I,
that
I
movie.
liked it as well.
So
I thought it was pretty good. It was something different.
yeah, because all we really had then was the Michael Keaton Batman movie, really, to compare things to.
We've got a really good question for you from Captain Spire. He says, Purple Valkyrie, does your guest know of any genre or setting that either has too much of a singular fan base or is automatically laughed at and would never make it past the editor?
Hmm. I mean, as far as just broad genres, I don't know. I don't think so. I think every genre has its fan base, and I think that if you produce quality work, then you will find your fan base in that genre,
hmm
no matter. So I don't know. Maybe there might be some subgenres that you might want to stray from, like the Chuck Tingle books and things like that. I don't know that I don't know that I'd try to make it big on a specialized genre like that, but yeah, I don't know. I don't think genre. I mean, you know, all the genres sell. Whether
hmm
you're romance, sci-fi, fantasy.
And that's it,
Mm.
especially with, independent creators like yourself. There is something for everybody out there.
Absolutely, yeah. Um, yeah, that's I think if you do anything well, then and stick with it, then I don't think you'll have a problem. I don't think the genres will be your problem.
hmm
So.
Yes, I think somebody said it in chat as well earlier. You build it and they will come if you give people, as you correctly said, good entertainment or respect whatever it is that you're creating, whatever genre.
Mhm.
People, will support it. as we've seen.
Yeah, just give people, be entertaining, give people what they want, and respect your customers. For me, it's hard to call it a fan base. To me, that to a lot of us in CG, they're customers. We interact with them directly. They can contact us at any time if they got issues or whatnot, and we're really hands on. So you
Yes,
know,
I would imagine it's a much closer relationship between creator and obviously buyer of the books when it comes to something like this because of the crowdfunding. You get to interact so much more.
yeah, and and it really couldn't be done without the customers and the readers.
Hmm.
They're everything, and yeah, we know who we work for. So you're never gonna see you're never gonna see me. Oh, you didn't like my newest book, you troll, you
Yes,
incel troll.
buy my book, you bigot. Yeah.
Yeah, I'll just make a list of like everybody who don't like my book is this, and I'll just play politics on easy mode.
Yes, and then go on a blockchain for everybody.
Yeah,
Yes. Funny how
yeah,
big creators do that, isn't it?
yeah. Dang. Sometimes it's just not for. Sometimes I get it. Sometimes the story's just not for you, and it's all right.
That's fine. There's something out
Yeah,
there for you. Just because you don't like this doesn't mean somebody else does.
yeah. So
Somebody in the chat was just talking. Let me see if I can find the comments. I just had it. Jim the Viking said Eternal Armor graphics look amazing. Could we talk a little bit about that? If I pull it
yeah,
up,
yeah, absolutely.
that would be fantastic. So, tell us about Eternal Armor.
Yeah, Eternal Armor is my hold on fourth. Yeah, fourth campaign. um, and yeah, sorry, they get yeah.
They all
So
run
yeah,
together.
I've done a few now. But this was my fourth one. It's in demand right now, so you can still get it. We will be
Nice.
fulfilling fairly soon. And it is a comic book. It's 64 pages. It's going to be black and white. I wanted to give you a quick overview of the story. Ever since when I was a kid, I was a huge fan of things like Mazinger Z,
Hmm.
Voltron, Robotech, Gundam.
Oh, you're in good
Um,
company here. We've got a lot of Voltron fans.
so I kind of wanted to do a throwback to something like that. Eternal Armor is the story of this robot you see here, the kind of almost Mazinger Z kind of 70s style robot. That was discovered in a lake by a fisherman and his son some years ago. They were fishing. The water was low due to a recent drought, and they saw, the top of the head sticking out of the water, and that's what it turned out to be. Most of the robot was stuck in the mud. So scientists came to excavate and dig it out, as they tend to do, and they began studying the robot, and eventually they recruited a pilot, and that was the brother of one of our main characters. And during the first attack by for now we'll call them the enemy. I haven't explained yet exactly what they are, but during the first attack, his brother ended up dying piloting the robot, and so now we're the first attack was more like a test run from the bad guys, because after that they weren't seen for some years, and
Hmm.
then now years later they're returning, and yeah, this is from the flashback scene here. This is early in the book. When our one of our main characters, Kaito, when he was around, I'd say he was early teens at this time. But this is kind of his memory of the events from one of the early attacks. And so yeah, now the enemy has returned years later, and we have two heroes who uh, have to find out where their place is in all this, and yeah, yeah. So if you like, okay, my idea with it was the robots have kind of that 70s dead robot head. Exactly. Yes, that was what we called it for the longest time. Because that was my working title before I ever like officially told anybody the name, because I had this I just had a promo image that was the smashed up head. You'll see it in the trailer. Right? It's in the trailer actually, but I just had this. It was one of the original designs we did, and yeah, all they have left of the original robot is what's left of the head. So for a long time, we just called the book Dead Robot Head. So, so yeah, Saint Ravage. Yeah, Saint Ravage knows about that. Yeah, we've
Uh-huh.
talked about it a few times on streams and such. So, yeah, that's what Mandy and Pete and I called it for a long time. So, but yeah, to get back to what I was saying, I'm sorry I got off in the weeds, but yeah, I wanted to kind of have that 70s super robot looking design for the robots at
Yes.
first.
Hmm.
Um, things will, all I can say is things will evolve over time, and including the styles of the robots, and there's reasons for all this, and we'll get all into that. Yeah, this is one of our main characters. He's Kaito. Um, like I said, his older brother was the first pilot, um, and now when the enemy returns, he has to figure out where he fits in all this. Mika is our other main character. Her uncle was one of the scientists that originally studied the robot, and now years later, they've kind of developed a new robot based on what they learned from it, and she is the test pilot for it right now, as our
Nice.
story begins. And these two characters, they kind of their storylines are separate. When I was first working on the plot for this and the outlines and such, I wanted them both to seem like the main character, depending on who the reader is and how they feel about things. And so what I did was I outlined the story of if Kaito was the main character, and I outlined it if Mika was the main character, and I took
Hmm.
all the best parts of those that work together and put them together. So they will know each other and such, but their storyline isn't necessarily dependent on each other.
Nice. And just
So
looking
it's
at the comments in the chat at the moment, people are absolutely loving this. They're talking about the artwork, the characters. Thank you guys.
thank you.
Absolutely.
Yeah, yeah. I'm glad you got you. I'm glad you guys are digging it. Yeah.
So does this
It's
go back to what you were saying earlier? You wanted to create something that you wanted to read growing up, and that's where the passion came from.
yeah, yeah. I wanted to, well, at least at the time that we started working on this, and maybe even now, CG didn't have any really giant robot stuff. So, and I've always wanted to do a giant robot story, and I figured, if I'm going to, then why not, give it a callback and make it look like where such source material would have come from. Um, and then so that's why I wanted it to have that manga look. um
I think it looks awesome, and you can tell that it's been created by someone who's a fan. It's not somebody who's pretending to know what they're talking about. It comes from the heart. I love that.
oh, thank you, yeah. Yeah, I it's the problem with being a writer is, since I know where the story goes, it's so hard to not want to tell spoilers. Because there's so many things I wish I could tell people that I'm like, trust me,
Trust
you wanna
me,
read this.
you're gonna love
Yeah,
it.
yeah, you're gonna love it. Trust me. So, but it's so hard to, you can't give too much away. So,
Do you mind if we play the trailer? Would that be okay?
absolutely not. Yeah, Mandy Summers made this trailer. So,
Awesome.
so yeah,
Let
just
me
throw
know
that
if
out
there's
there. So,
let me know if there's any sound, guys. If there isn't, I'll just redo it. So, uh, let's see.
I hear it.
You hear it? Awesome. Let's turn that up a little bit. That is beautiful. Hell yes.
Thank you. Yeah.
Wow.
So
Holy heck.
yes, eternalarmor.com will take you to the campaign if you do not have a link. So
The awesome mods have been throwing the links out. Thank you guys. Thank you, Mark. Thank you, Chris. You guys are the best. Yeah, Shane says Mandy's very good at these trailers, isn't she? She absolutely is.
yeah, yeah. I kind of wrote the script for it, threw her the images, and said, "Here, have fun." And so yeah,
Big thank you guys. That is awesome. But it's like you say, that really kind of grabs your attention, gets you pumped up, and gives you, just that little bit of information that really gets you hooked.
yeah, yeah. And parts of the trailer all kind of give me anxiety. But it's like, oh, I need this. No, but oh, I want to read this now. But yeah, yeah, great trailer. I thought it turned out excellent.
It really did. Somebody asked in the chat, "Are you doing any more work with Adriana?" I'm just trying to find the the message.
Oh, Ardana.
Adana, that's it. Sorry, yes,
Yeah,
Adana.
no. I get what you're saying. Yes, I got what you're saying now. Yeah, yeah, we're looking at that for next year. Something pretty big. That was actually my first campaign.
Oh,
Um,
nice.
yeah, let me, if I can throw it in the chat here. I hate
Yeah,
to tempt people
absolutely.
with it because every time people see it, they're like, "Where can I get that?" And I'm like, "I am so sorry. We don't have any. It is sold out." Um, but yeah, I think that will. Sorry,
Let's have a look.
because that was what happened when I was on with Lorena Creole. And she brought that campaign up, and everybody was like, "Where can I get that?" So, but yeah, that was my first campaign. There you go. That might help.
There we go. I think I've got it. Let me just share that, and we'll have a look.
Yeah, for sure. Don't forget the Saint Ravage. Don't forget the Eternal Armor lunchbox. I think we'll probably get back to Eternal Armor. I just went off in the weeds again.
Yeah,
If
we
you
can come back to it, absolutely.
Since this campaign is closed, I think you have to scroll down a little bit to
Okay.
see.
Ah,
There you
there
go.
we go. Okay, there we go.
This right here, though, was actually okay. Ardana number 0 was my very first campaign when I was brand new. It did pretty well for to be a guy nobody knew. Um, and then after Peter and I did Rocket Gal, um, everybody was like, "Hey, you've done another book?" And I was like, "Yeah." And so then everybody, everybody was asking about a second chance campaign. So we reran the book with a new cover and did quite well. It turned out to be a great. I think if you click continue reading, it'll make all that stuff not.
There. Oh yeah, there it is. There we go.
Yeah. But anyway, yeah, this was for my first campaign. But to answer the question, yes, we will absolutely. Yeah, there will be more. You will be able to get issue 0, this issue here. You'll be able to
That,
get a new
that's hot.
printing of it as well. Yeah, this is actually a variant cover of a cover that was on the first campaign. On the first campaign, it was daytime. And on this one it was nighttime, and I thought that would be a
Nice.
cool but yeah, this is fantasy, sword and sorcery fantasy. Like if you like Conan the Barbarian, The Witcher,
Mm-hmm.
stuff like that, it's very much along those lines.
That is cool. I love the design of her. She looks
Thank
great.
you. Yeah, surprisingly I have not done a superhero book yet, but that is coming. So yeah, I wanted to have fun and do some stuff that I wanted to do. I always thought a fantasy comic would be fun.
I love that.
Yeah, man. Right after he hits him in the face with the torch too, and so yeah, I'm a big fan of using the scenery around them.
Hmm.
So there's a torch, so why not smack somebody with it, right?
Exactly. Take him out and then finish the job.
So yeah, there will definitely be another chance to get this. Unfortunately, like I said, we're sold out at the minute. I had a few extras that were add-ons on the Eternal. I put them on the Eternal Armor campaign as add-ons, and they were gone almost immediately. So,
Nice.
um,
Seems
so
like this
yeah,
did incredibly well.
yeah. Between the two campaigns, I guess it was almost $20,000. So we did pretty well. The first one did about 5,500 or so. Like I said, pretty good for a new guy at the time.
I'd say that's pretty solid. Yeah, that's amazing. Did you think that they were going to be as successful as they were, or do you always hope that the product that you create is really going to capture people's imaginations?
Um, the very first campaign, I was just hoping somebody saw it. Um, I was hoping people could just find out what it was. But uh, I try not to really go in with much expectations. I think I'm happy with how everything is done. You know, no matter what, I'm happy about it. I love my backers, my supporters, and they're always there. And so, I'm always happy with how it turns out.
I think so. You've clearly built up a really strong, loyal fan base with all the work that you're putting out. Just quickly, let me say a massive thank you to Stephen Glenn. Thank you, sir. He sends us a $10 super chat. He says, "Please have one of the brothers play a cello to give homage to Airwolf, another 80s show I bet you loved." And he says, "Can you introduce me to the model for Adana? I will love you, purple. LOL." Are the characters and the people that you create based on anybody, or are they purely from imagination?
No, they're not based on anyone. Most of the design, I myself am not the world's greatest artist, but I do a lot of the designs myself, especially the robots. But yeah, for Eternal Armor. But yeah, I do a lot of the designs myself. And then I get a good artist to make it look cool. So, um, but if I were gonna if I were gonna do a casting call for Ardonna, I think Catherine Winnick from Vikings would be awesome.
Oh, I love Catherine Winnick. She is such a cool lady.
Yeah.
I adore her. And yeah, Stephen Glenn says it's obvious that a lot of work went into this project and lots of love as well. You should be proud of the work done. The fan base will grow. I absolutely agree.
Thank you, thank you. I'm happy with everything. I'm happy with everything. So I'm just gonna keep at it. So
Hell yes. I mean, that's you can clearly tell that you're loving what you're doing. It's not about, um, you know, you're bringing something. It is a work of passion, and I love to see that, especially from independent creators. Saint Ravage says, "Correct me if I'm wrong, but can't you get Ardana as a add-on for Eternal Armor?"
yeah, Saint Ravage, you could, but I think the black and white variant cover might be one of the only ones that there are some copies left of. There are a couple of copies left, but I think it's the black and white cover. There might be one or two left, but for the most
Yes.
part, they're gone. But yeah, if you see the add-on listed, if you back Eternal Armor, then it's definitely available if you see it there. So, but yeah, as far as yeah, I had a few copies left from the original campaign. So I put those as add-ons, but the second chance campaign, yeah, I don't have any of those left. So
That's amazing. I love to see add-ons be snapped up because you can tell that people are loving what you're doing. Just quickly, I want to say a massive thank you to Mark, the infinitely tired Mark. You didn't have to do that. He sends us a 199 super chat. He says it appears indie comics are in good hands.
thank you, Mark. Yeah, I see Mark the Infinitely Tired in quite a few chats I pop into. So good to see you, man. Thanks.
Absolutely. We have an amazing community. That's one of the things that we like to talk about. You talk about, how close you are with your fan base and how well you work together with your customers. The one thing that I've noticed about YouTube as well is how close YouTubers are. Everybody supports everybody. There's a lot of back and forth within the community, and I love to see that. I'd love to see crossover.
Mhm. Oh yeah, yeah. Um, yeah. There's so much, uh, in all these communities. There's so much just love and support, and yeah, it's very humbling sometimes.
Mhm.
So
It really is. Have you found that it's a lot easier? We were talking when you first began, it was kind of hard to kind of gauge the audience, but now that it's a lot easier to kind of get in touch with people. We've got all these kind of networks. We've got Twitter and we've got YouTube, and it's a lot easier with Indiegogo, for example, to kind of talk to people. Has that been a big help in growing the audience?
absolutely, yeah. I think yeah, being able to communicate is key. And to me, in any creative endeavor, whether you're making a comic or an indie film or short film or whatever, discoverability is always the biggest hurdle.
Hmm.
Just for people to know it exists so they can get it is often the hardest thing about getting started. So,
Yes. Word of
so yeah,
mouth is incredibly important, I would imagine, even in this day and age when we've got so much, ability to, through technology, but just having somebody say, "Oh, I saw this fantastic campaign, let me send you the link and see what you think about it." That's, I would imagine, is really important.
absolutely, yeah. And then respecting your customers is certainly key. So once you get in contact with them, and once they do find you, um, and are generous enough to be into what you're doing and support it. Um, yeah, I mean, I poke an SJW every once in a while, but I wouldn't. But I
Well,
wouldn't.
they probably deserve it, to be fair.
Well, yeah, of course, right? Um,
Do you
but
get a
yeah.
lot of that? I mean, obviously, being a part of Comicsgate, do you get a lot of kind of people still looking down their noses at you, thinking that you're one thing when clearly you guys really aren't what a lot of people say you are? You know,
Um, I personally don't get it a lot. Every once in a while, someone will just show up out of the ether. Um, but there was a guy the other day, and all I did, I just kept, he was trying to troll me, so I was just like, "Are you sure there's a lunchbox on the campaign?"
just try and tempt him. Yes,
Yeah, I know you want it. You wouldn't still be here.
do it.
So, yeah, no, I don't get it very bad.
That's
So,
good.
and
I know
then,
some people do, and I think it's really sad because at the end of the day, you guys are just creating, and there wouldn't be this scarcity of the products that customers want if we didn't have the big comic book creators just kind of crashing and burning.
yeah, yeah, I mean, yeah, they stay all over Ethan like ticks.
They do.
But, but, so I'm definitely not saying it doesn't happen, but it certainly doesn't happen that much to me. But man, yeah, like, Ethan, yeah, man, he's
Uh,
always shaking them off.
Ethan knows
So,
how to deal with them, though. Bless him.
yeah.
And Same Ravage says that was hilarious. The dude couldn't figure out if you were trolling him back.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. Yeah, I think he was confused.
And Shane Nolan, I think I saw that. Was that to do with the really cute hair clips that Mandy had? That was so silly. Yeah.
Oh, yeah, yeah, and yeah, and then
People people are so weird. It's like it had absolutely nothing to do with him, but he still had to get involved.
yeah, that was the same thing with me. It was actually for a promo tweet for Eternal Armor. I was celebrating. I don't remember what I was celebrating, but I was celebrating something. I think it was hitting 11,000, and
Nice.
this guy just randomly decides to show up and be the fart in the elevator. And
I bet he's fun at parties.
yeah, yeah. And like the very next day, I saw him trying to do the same thing to Cecil.
Wow.
So I just said, "Hey, look, it's my big fan from yesterday. Hope you're doing well, buddy."
Yeah. How you doing? Did you get that lunchbox yet? Yeah.
Yeah, you get that lunchbox? Double-sided, got a different image on each side.
It'll be useful. You should go get
got,
it.
we
Just
got some
saying.
stickers. You like
Just keep
stickers?
tempting him with the extras. He'll crack eventually.
Yeah.
Oh, and hello and good morning to MB Gig. Good to see you. Jesse says, I'm your Huckleberry PV. Thank you, sweetheart. It's always good to see you. MB Gig's a fantastic guy, and he's one of our members of the community that's really kind of good when it comes to comics. He's got a lot of comic book knowledge, so always good
Awesome.
to see him. Mark says it comes with stickers. I'm in.
See? I knew the stickers would be the selling point. Yeah, so if you don't like reading and you don't like eating lunch, but you like stickers, this is the campaign for you.
Something for everybody.
Yeah. You don't have to like eating, but
One of the things that I wanted to ask you as a creator, do you think that Hollywood now has a kind of is very barren when it comes to great writers? We seem to be having nothing but remakes and you know films and IPs just being redone over and over again? There's no original ideas left now, or do you think it's because Hollywood just don't want to take a chance on new ideas?
That's that's tough. I certainly think a lot of the creativity is gone. It kind of seems like they ran off a lot of the talented people. And I mean, it's the same thing that happened kind of with mainstream comics. Um, you get people in there that maybe they shouldn't be doing that job,
Mm-hmm.
and they run off the talent, and they bring their friends in, and
Yes, there seems to be a lot of nepotism going on nowadays. You don't have the people that wanted to write, say, Star Wars or Star Trek because they loved it and they grew up with it and it's something that has always meant something to them.
yeah, like to me, I mean, the chances now of me ever working for Marvel or DC, like I got a better chance of flying to the moon. But
But would you want to? Would be the other side of that coin. Yes.
no, probably not, man. No, probably not. I don't know what they could really. I don't know if they can make it worth my time to fix. Um, but but back when I would think about how awesome it would be to write Spider-Man, I wouldn't have dragged him through the mud.
Mm-mm.
Like I don't know. It's
Yeah, I
it
always
seems like
liked Spider-Man, I've got to admit. And I always liked the Spider-Man that we had when he was, very poor. It was
yeah,
that
yes,
kind of Spider-Man when he was struggling.
yes. I don't know. I couldn't. I just couldn't see myself writing anything that I didn't have a love for.
Hmm.
I mean, I don't know. I don't see how you can claim to be a fan of something and then show up and immediately want to change everything about it. That makes no sense.
Yes, you're basically taking the name and just kind of making it your own. Then, we've had a lot of that. It's, I think even Cowboy Bebop, for example, has been said it's in name only. It had very little to do with an anime that people absolutely loved, and live action animes very rarely go to plan. And I think this one is a classic example.
Yeah, I don't think I don't think just being live action anime. I don't think I don't think hopes were that high to start with. Just when you hear that, but I don't really know a lot about the Cowboy Bebop
Hmm.
situation, but I do know enough to know that the actors and various other people involved were complete shitheads. Um, when the actual fans of the show had something to say. So
Yes, well, it goes back to what you were saying earlier, respect the fans, respect the law.
yeah,
It, you wouldn't
I
think it was that hard, but apparently it is.
just can't see them like, hey Wyatt, we want you to come write the Hulk. Well, okay, I don't like the Hulk, so I'm gonna change everything about the Hulk. Screw you if you don't like it.
But still call it the Hulk for name recognition,
Yeah,
yes.
we're gonna make him purple, and he's gonna have an eggplant spread out the top of his head, and he's gonna be the eggplant Hulk.
I'd read that. It's like my lady says I'd like to get Marvel away from Marvel.
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah, I
Yeah.
know.
It's sad to see because a lot of us here, and yourself included, obviously, we are big comic book fans. We love comic books. Comics back in the 70s and 80s when they were in their heyday were, amazing. You had these fantastic stories. The characters were brilliant, but now it's It's the whole idea that you've got to have, relatability with the characters. You've got to see yourself within the characters. I always loved
Yeah.
Batman, but I never needed to see myself in Batman. You know what I mean?
Yeah, I wouldn't mind having Batman's money, but I didn't really, I didn't need my parents to get whacked in an alleyway so I could empathize with Batman. Um, but yeah, that's like, yeah, you're exactly right. It's like now I have to be embarrassed to tell people that I freaking used to love the character of Carol Danvers before what they done to her. Like
Ah,
the
back
version everybody else knows now.
back when she was Ms. Marvel in the black
Yeah, back
costume.
when she was
Yep.
awesome. Yeah.
Mhm.
The original, I loved the original run from I think it was late 70s, early 80s.
Mhm.
All that stuff was great. But yeah, man, I can't tell people. I can't tell
No.
people that.
Well, you wouldn't even think it was the same character nowadays if you put them side by side because she's almost
Mm-mm.
unrecognizable.
Yeah, I mean, yes, of course. Late 70s, you're gonna get a little bit of the whole, feminism, woman power thing, obviously.
Yes,
But,
Wonder Woman had that, but it was never so kind of forced and, shoved down your throat about it.
yeah, yeah. I mean, yeah. It was not, yeah, that's the difference. There's when a lot of people say they don't want politics in their comics, they don't really mean politics, they mean activism.
Exactly. Yes.
And
Yeah.
there's a huge difference.
Yes, it's all about pushing the message, whatever message that happens to be, and there's no subtlety with it. It's just bashing the audience over the head.
Yeah, yeah. And I would just be, I don't know. I couldn't imagine trying to like I wouldn't want to structure my story around some political hang up that I have in my own head. Like that's just
No,
weird.
no.
Um
And
like
I
I
always
love capitalism, but I'm not gonna make a little communist village in Ardana so I can dunk on the commies. I mean, it's dumb.
that sort of thing, it never ages well as well. Do you find as well, you'll pick up a comic from a couple of years ago where they were talking about whatever the big social issue was and it aged really badly and just doesn't mean anything now?
Yes. Yes, that's another problem with modern activists. They're so bad at it. That, I mean, I think all of us, especially as teenagers, were rather left leaning, for the time
Mhm.
that we lived in, and um, but man, they're so bad at it. I've never seen activists, you know, they have the opposite reaction than what they're going for. It's like they're so bad at it, they don't even draw people their calls. They just make them want to run away.
Exactly, in droves. It's amazing how you
Yeah,
can run your audience off so quickly. Um,
it's not that people can't agree with you. It's that why are you doing it this way?
Sultan Al Fahim asks, "Have you seen the Star Wars Eclipse trailer?" I have. I thought it was pretty darn cool, to be honest. Whether or not it's a game that I will pick up, I don't know, but I was pretty impressed with it. I gotta admit. Are you a Star Wars fan as well, Wyatt?
I am. Yeah, of course. I love the original series, obviously. I mean, the original trilogy, obviously. And then the prequels don't seem so bad now.
It's amazing, isn't it? How you get a newfound respect for them.
Yeah, I mean, I didn't really even dislike. I mean, I don't think many people liked episode one. I mean,
Mm.
but I mean, I never really disliked two and three. But they're a lot better now.
Oh yes, absolutely. I love some of the characters. I thought Qui-Gon Jinn was an amazing character.
Mm.
Um, I thought some of the choreography in the films was brilliant. The fight with Darth Maul I thought was fantastic. So there
Oh
are
yes.
really good things that you can pick out. Yes, people always dunk on Jar Jar Binks, but he was for the kids.
Yeah, yeah, and I have friends that are younger that were the right age for that, and and they love Jar Jar. So not my thing, but I guess it was right for someone at the time.
Yes, and at the time, you didn't really kind of think about it. Even I think as kids, we kind of rolled our eyes and thought, he's just a silly character.
Yeah, I dumped this guy on the nearest planet as quick as I could. But otherwise, yeah, didn't really bother me that bad. I didn't have to deal with it.
No, it didn't bother me either, to be honest. Um, a big thank you again to Mark. He says, "Can we discuss the total disregard for Mojo and Spiral?"
You mean in the X-Men?
In yes, uh, we had this ongoing idea that when WandaVision was playing, that maybe, just maybe, they were hinting towards Mojo kind of
Mm.
making an appearance because of what was going on, and it never happened. And Mark was understandably upset, which is why we get the hashtag Mojo Matters.
Yeah, that's how I felt about the end. That's how I felt about the Mandarin at the end of that Iron Man movie.
Yeah. Oh, what a waste of Ben Kingsley
Was it
that
two?
was.
I think it was two, right?
Yes, I think it was. I
Okay,
think,
yeah.
was it 2 or 3? I can't remember. But yes, yeah, it was.
Yeah, I'm lost now too. It was two or three. I don't remember. But yeah, oh yeah, totally. Yeah, I agree. But when you rewatch Attack of the Clones, I've seen, like, I enjoy a lot of the political aspect of episode 2, because then you see how it's actually coming together, and how the plan, how the plan's been orchestrated. But I was never a huge fan of episode 2, but I liked a lot of that, and it's grown on me over the years.
Hmm. Are you one of those people? And I know a lot of people have. They've kind of turned away from Disney now. There's a little bit of superhero fatigue when it comes to the MCU. A lot of people don't like what's been done with Star Wars. There's a lot of pushback at the moment for example, the Star Wars hotel that they're trying to get people to to sign up for. That people are just
What?
mocking.
Yeah, yeah. Because, to answer your question, I've never had Disney Plus. I haven't
Hmm.
seen The Mandalorian. I haven't watched anything MCU since Endgame. So yeah, I guess that kind of puts me on paper as being mostly done.
Hmm.
I
Yeah.
just, I don't know, man. You you can only give someone so many chances, right? Like,
Yes. So
I'm
you
just
can
tired of getting
only.
burned. I'd rather miss out.
I think a lot of people have gotten to that, and the one thing that I have noticed, it's kind of across the board. Whether you're a Star Trek fan or Star Wars or Doctor Who, comic books. It's even leaking into video games and board games. There's just no kind of escapism now.
I know. They're all up in the tabletop RPGs like D&D and stuff now, and it's just really.
It's a shame. I think it'll swing back. I think we're going to have great entertainment again, but I think it's going to be a slow swing back to what we used to have. Um,
Yeah, I think we'll get there again too. I
mhm.
think it will swing back. And it's there are people like us and everyone out there in the chat and everyone watching that are, we're the ones ushering that along. So
Yes, absolutely. And that's one of the things that we do say here, especially, within our community and within the greater community, support independent creators, because this is where, the fun is coming from. This is where the original ideas are coming from. And it's people like yourself that are at the forefront of that.
yeah, this is how we do something about it. So whether you're backing a comic on Indiegogo, whether you're watching Purple Valkyrie, whether you're a YouTuber yourself or a comic creator, we're all doing this, and
Hmm.
I we're clearly rattling some cages. So
Yes, that's something I've noticed as well. If there's been a big shake-up and they don't like that, I, not to say that we're little people, we're not little people, but we're not as powerful as the big corporations, but our voices are being heard, and I love that.
yes, absolutely, and more people find us all every day, um, because there are a lot of people frustrated with how their entertainment has been treated in recent years, and how they themselves have been treated, to be honest.
Yes,
So
yeah. You can only, disrespect people for so long before they close their wallets. And Big Ig's a prime example. He says, I was into Star Trek from age 7, Star Wars not till 16. Episode 1 came out when I was 19. Never had an issue with 1 to 3, as I got into Star Wars later than most. Agreed. Yeah, I was a little bit older as well when it came out, but I still enjoyed them for what they were.
mhm. Yeah, I was. I guess I would have been in my 20s when the prequels came out.
Agreed. And St. Ravish says, I was done with Star Trek the minute Jar Jar Abrams got his untalented hands on it.
Man, I had some hopes, but they weren't great hopes. I I liked a lot of the casting,
Mhm. Yes.
but
Loved but the one that played McCoy, what's his name? Oh, his name's gone out of my head.
Carl Urban,
Carl Urban. Yes, thank you. I loved Carl Urban. I thought he was really
yeah,
good.
yeah. I'm a my Star Trek is the original series. Uh,
Yes.
love it. About as much as I do Star Wars. They're probably about the same level. Next Generation's pretty good. I haven't seen all of Deep Space Nine. I've heard great things about it.
Hmm. I love Deep
But
Space Nine, I've got to
but
admit.
I know about it. I know about everything enough. I know who all the characters are and so on. But yeah, the original series, that's my Star Trek. Not that I was around for it. but but when
But
I was a kid and you've
you
only got
still,
three
yeah,
channels,
you still have an appreciation for it. Yes.
yeah, I mean they showed reruns on like Saturday or something, and that's how I saw it originally.
Oh, that's awesome. Snorty Pooper says, I remember seeing Star Wars back in ancient times at the drive-in when they showed it on the side of a pyramid.
Double feature with Stargate.
Nice. Before we wrap up and let everybody go today, tell us what you've got coming up. Tell us a little bit more about Eternal Armor and where can we find you?
Um, yeah. First of all, yeah, you can find me on Twitter at _ Wyatt Holliday, like it says right there on the screen. If you want to check out Eternal Armor, you can go to eternalarmor.com. That will redirect you to the campaign. I also have a Pulp magazine available right now. It is a throwback to what we were talking earlier about Doc Savage and the Shadow and things like that. It's not a comic, but it is a true throwback, to use the word again, to the classic pulp magazines of
Yes, is it
from
this
the
one?
late 19th. Yeah,
There we go.
yeah. There we go.
There we go.
This is the story of. It's an adventure story. Our main character here, Ava Atlas. Actually, could we just play the trailer really quick?
Yeah, absolutely.
That will explain more than I could right here, and a lot faster.
Nice. Let's play this.
Ava Atlas, born with enhanced bone and muscle density, has trained her entire life to protect the world as a veritable pulp superwoman. A sinister mastermind, shrouded in myth, rises from the shadows, along with his faceless fanatics, to threaten everything she holds dear, aided by an occult investigator who defeated the villain once before, using a mysterious pocket watch powered by blood. Ava must uncover dark designs before a clawed hand grips the globe. In the world's first ever Pulp Heroines magazine.
That is awesome. I love that.
Thank you. You might recognize the voice as Valiant Renegade.
I
He did the voiceover for me.
He's got a great voice, hasn't he?
Yeah, he does. He does. Yeah, this was something, like I've said, I've been a big fan of pulp magazines from the time I was around 15. I've studied them for years. I have a pretty decent collection. And it was something I didn't know how this was going to do, how it would be received. Nobody's done it yet. So I figured, I wanted to do it. So I did. We've done pretty well. You can actually read chapter 1. Chapter 1 is available to read. The link is right there on the campaign. Take you straight to the PDF. And so if you want to check that out, but yeah, it's an adventure story. We have Ava Atlas as our hero. She will be teaming up with Inspector Sin, who is an occult investigator who can feed. He basically feeds. He's got this magical pocket watch that if you drip blood in the mouth, that's how you get it to open, and it will tell you an event from the past or the future or something happening right now, depending on what you're looking for. And because it's possessed by a demon, you'll find out about all that in the book. And they're attempting to stop a villain called the Sleeping Dragon. He's the guy up there with the gold arm. That is the sleeve off an ancient Chinese hero's mystical armor. All he has is the sleeve from it, but he's able to use the magic from it he's able to harness the power to power his own dark magic. He's a bit of a sorcerer himself. Almost a Fu Manchu kind of inspired villain. That's what we got going on. It's going to be fun.
That is awesome. And like I say, I love that, you brought back the pulp magazines, because you don't see that very often now.
No, you don't. And that was another thing when I was becoming a fan and researching and started collecting. You had Doc Savage, you had The Shadow, and a lot of them. Operator Number 5, a lot of them. But very rarely, like being a fan of such, I was like, where are the ones with the chicks, right? And I'm sure it's a time period thing, right? But there would be magazines that would have stories. There are a few characters.
Yes, because you also got the men's magazines, didn't you? The adventure. Men's adventures and things, yeah.
Yeah, I mean, there were a few characters like Domino Lady and some others that were pulp hero type characters, but there was never like one that had their own magazine or anything like that. So I just decided to create the first one, and so there we go. But it has a lot of other cool characters as well. Like I say, Inspector Sin, and so on and so forth. It's certainly building something here. We're building towards something with this one. There will be, I didn't know how well it was going to do, like I say, but there will certainly be an issue 2.
Nice.
So, and we are getting ready to fulfill this in the next couple weeks. So coming soon.
That is awesome. So guys, all of the links are in the description below. A massive thank you to Mark and to Chris for putting the links out throughout the show. You guys are on fire as always.
Thank you.
If you are not subscribed to Wyatt, please do, because as you can see, he has some incredible content coming out, and I'm guessing there's going to be more in the future.
Absolutely. Pete and I are doing the second Rocket Gal book next. It will be Rocket Gal and the Voyagers from the Void. which the Rocket Gal is that's kind of our take on almost cartoonish Don Bluth type, like that
Yes.
sort of story and style. It's not meant to be taken seriously. We're just having fun with it, and it's a goofy space adventure type thing. But yeah, the first one was Rocket Gal and the Mole Men of Mars. Um, I like funny alliteration, and I like people saying tongue twisters. So the Voyagers from the Void will be the next one, and yeah, we got that. We're working on that next, and then I've got a superhero project that I don't talk much about coming out after that. So yeah, a lot coming. 2022 is going to be a big year. If you do want to grab a copy of Rocket Gal and the Mole Men of Mars, you can get one on Mandy's site, stuntmancomics.com. We do have some that are left available there if you want to pick that up. And yeah, lots coming up.
That is fantastic. And Chris says, Wyatt, you created a character that will stand a long time. Deja Thoris, Red Sonja, Shauna the Jungle Queen, Ava Atlas is a winner.
Thank you. Yeah, that's a huge compliment. Yeah. Thank you.
That is, and I agree. And just to say a massive thank you to Max Relax, who sends us a super sticker. Let me just scroll up and see what it was. It was a superhero pair. So thank you, sweetheart. Really appreciate that. Thank you, guys. You guys in the chat were absolutely on fire today, as always.
Thank you for having me. Thank you to everyone in the chat, and thank you to all backers and supporters. We could not do this without you. And keep showing Purple Valkyrie some love.
Absolutely, guys. I've been wanting to get Wyatt on for a while, and I'm so happy that he said yes today. So I'd love to have you back when the next campaign starts. Would you?
Yes.
Would you come back?
Absolutely. Anytime you want me to come hang out, I'll come hang out. And yeah, you got to get over. You got to get over on my channel. So yeah.
Say when, and I will be there.
Awesome. Yeah, I'd love to have you over there. Yeah.
So, guys, sorry, ended up coughing. Let me say a massive thank you to my fantastic guest today. It was an honor to get to talk to him. A massive thank you to everybody in the chat. You guys were on fire. We had some brilliant comments today. Thank you to everybody who sent super chats, sent super stickers. Thank you to everybody who's checked out the links, and thank you to the mods for their hard work today. You guys are excellent, as always. So, guys, please do check out Wyatt's work, because as you can see, he is a very talented guy, and he's got much more coming in the future. And Pete says Nick Cage stream needs to happen. It's gonna happen, Feeder. I promise. I'm just getting together a panel, and we will have that. We're gonna talk about Nick Cage and give Nick Cage some love, because I think he doesn't get enough love.
Nick Cage Dracula, right?
Exactly, yes.
Yes.
That's what sparked the conversation.
As soon as Pete said something to me about it, I said, he in my head, he looks like Nick Cage playing Christopher Lee playing Dracula. And that's awesome.
I think he's going to pull it off, to be honest. I have a soft spot for him, so I'm really looking forward to that stream. That's going to be fun. But guys, let me say a massive thank you again. Have a wonderful rest of your Friday. Have a fantastic weekend. I don't think I've got a show Sunday, but I will most definitely be back on Monday morning as always. So have a fantastic weekend, guys, and no doubt we will see each other around YouTube.
Bye.
And take care. Bye.